Gotta wait for that audio to come through, and then we're gonna be good to go, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another live stream. If you are just getting here, we're gonna be modeling this awesome shoe today in celebration of SuperHive's Winter 2026 sale. All right, here we go. So I'm just gonna quickly shout that out real quick, and then we're gonna get started. So just a quick announcement about the 2026 winter sale on SuperHive. Please check it out. The comment that I just made has that link there, so you can check that out. Again, everything's on sale. Everything's site wide, 25%. So please check it out. That's our promo for right now. We'll come back to it. Please check this out. How are you doing, Mark? And let's go ahead and hop right into it. So I found this awesome shoe online. This is kind of similar to the one we've done before. I just thought this was so cool. There's a lot going on here with textures and stitching, maybe some geometry nodes. There's a few things going on here that I just think I can't help but not at least try to model this. So that's what we're going to go for today. I'm going to keep that reference in the top left. I have my face here on the bottom left as well, but let me just go ahead and scrunch it down just a little bit for you guys here. Okay, perfect. And then I also have keybinds as well. I know some people like them, some people don't, so I'll be moving them off to the right. All right, so I have some reference images. Now, this specific shoe, I don't remember exactly what it's called. I believe it's by Columbia, yep. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag in each reference. I got these from a website, from the actual product website. First thing I'm going to do is get this side right here. I'm going to delete this one, actually. I'm going to get this side here, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and RX90 to push it out into the middle, and I'm going to center it perfectly in our scene. So now I basically have this first reference, right? This is going to be our base reference, but we need every other angle as well. So I'll also be getting that as well. So if you want, you can duplicate, go up to your images, and you can just swap this image out. So right now I have the left side, and now I want the right side, right? So this is the flipped side. RZ180. We'll go ahead and throw that back here. Believe it or not, they are slightly different, right? You can see obviously one has a logo, one does not. So you just have to be really careful to make sure that you distinguish that, right? All right, for our middle layer here, I'm going to get the bottom of my shoe. I'm going to lay that down flat here. I'm going to bring that here. I'm going to make sure it's facing the right way. Right now it is not, so we want to face it 0 degrees. Perfect. And then I'll also move this way. Perfect. So now we have our bottom of our shoe. We'll bring that down. That's the base of the shoe. This is the side, right? Now, some people will do this, right? They'll kind of do a little stack like that. That's fine too. Doesn't matter however you guys want to do it. Now let's get the front and the back of the shoe next. So I'm going to shift D again. I'm going to get the same plane that I'm using. Let's go ahead and do the back of the shoe. All right. And we'll do RZ90, RZ180, because the left side, hold on. No, that's the right side, so we actually need to flip it all the way around again. You do -180. Or hold on. You need to do this way. Perfect, -90. Perfect. Go ahead and place that right there. So now we have the back of the shoe. Yep, that's correct. Perfect. And then we need one more for the front. Just go ahead and grab that. This is going to be the front of the shoe. So we have the front, the back, the bottom, the sides, and then what we need now is we need, you guessed it, the top. So let's go ahead and grab the top of the shoe here. This is a top-down perspective. Now we have all the perspectives that we need for the shoe, and now it's time to actually, well, start modeling the shoe. Now, there's a lot of different ways that we can like start doing this. One thing I am gonna do though, I'm gonna go ahead and grab this. One thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hide the things that I don't need right now. These are all gonna stay in one collection. So I'm gonna press A. I'm actually just going to turn this collection into references because I want to stay really nice and organized here, because when it comes to, oh my god, if I can type, there we go. When it comes to modeling a shoe, you want to kind of keep it organized because there's a lot of different pieces flying around, right? So for the bottom, I'm just going to say sole. Okay, so we'll go ahead into this sole collection. I'm gonna start with the bottom of the shoe. Probably going to need the bottom and the top. This right here is the bottom, so I'm just going to label it as such. And then the top is going to be this one here. That's the top. Perfect. So I have the bottom and the top of the shoe. I'm going to start with just like the profile itself of the shoe. And I actually think this needs to be flipped. It needs to be flipped this way. I'm almost positive because it's a right-hand shoe. Hold on, wait. That's on its side, so it should be flipped this way. Yes. Okay. Pretty sure I got that right. And if you ever need to, you can go into your X-ray mode, or you can take one of these and lower the opacity a little bit so you can line everything up. I'm going to take the bottom. I'm going to line it up with this. It's not perfect because the perspectives are slightly different. So what we could do is we could scale the top one if we need to make it fit. That looks fine. All right, and we'll come back to that later. So we have the bottom of our shoe right here. All right, let's lay it flat. Perfect. Now, this is the part where we need to like really think, okay, how do we want to construct this thing, right? There's a lot of details. I'm going to add the details last. I'm just going to start with the basic outline of our shoe. And for that, I'm going to use a plane. I'm going to get rid of my X-ray mode here. All right, I'm going to kind of tab into edit mode and scale this down. Now, there's a lot of ways you can do this. Now, this isn't symmetrical, so we won't be using the mirror modifier here. Let me go ahead and hide this. So what we're going to do is I'm going to subdivide this. All right, and I'm going to scale it down a little bit. Subdivide it one more time. And I'm going to start forming this thing based on what I think it looks like. So what I'll do is I'll take each vertex, right, and I'll kind of start to kind of piece this together like this. All right, and now this is not going to be perfect at first. I'm going for the basic outline of the sole, so don't get confused if you see any ridges because those don't count. Okay. All right, again, I'm just going for the basic outline. We're going to smooth it out later with some modifiers, but for the most part, this is usually how I do this. All right, here we go. It's not going to be perfect, right? We're going to probably add more geometry later, but this is kind of how I'm going to start fleshing this thing out, right? And now what we can do is we can take this edge, right? We can E to extrude it, and then we can continue to do that a few times. We can scale it in a little bit. E, scale, right? Repeat the process. Oops. E to extrude, scale is S for any beginners out there. Scaling it in and out. And this, again, is super basic. We'll probably add another loop cut, but this is, like, for the most part, how I'm going to kind of go about doing this part here. We're also going to be using some modifiers as well. We haven't gotten to that yet. We will get to that eventually. Once you start getting to this area here, you're going to want to kind of manually adjust a few of these points. And I do have my loop tools enabled on the top right here, so if I need to, I can relax one of these. So I'll show you how we're going to do that later. Again, E. As we start to get to this wider part, we can kind of refine that a little bit. E. Okay, scale it out a little bit. Maybe scale it in. Perfect. E. Scale it down. Right? Doesn't have to be perfect because we're going to add a subdiv anyway. So now right here, I'm going to start to kind of piece this together here. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and select this edge again. E to extrude. Scale it down. SX to scale it. Kind of flatten it a little bit more. E, scale significantly. And this part you need to pay attention to because we really want this to kind of come out here more. All right, okay, like that. We want these to follow suit. All right, and the reason it's not looking rounded is because we don't have a subdiv on it, so we're going to go ahead and add that now. Subdivision surface, perfect, 2 levels. If we look at that, it's nice and smooth, looks really nice. Just take a look real quick. We want to have this sliding that way, this one's sliding that way a little bit more. And now we can really start to like see what the shape is going to look like, right? And it looks pretty good. Now, if I alt click this, I can press GG to slide, right? And I'm going to do that on both of these because I kind of want these to be a little bit more like that. Yeah, I want them to be a little bit further apart. Perfect. All right, this is starting to look really good. Topology looks decent. It's not perfect, but it'll do. All right, this looks good. So now we have the basic sole. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on my side here. Okay, let's move this up. Perfect. Move it up more. I'm going to give this some solidity. Some solidity here because I want to see where this picture lines up. Okay, we're going to go ahead and line this up. We're going to try to line this up so that you can see that the thickness and the width line up perfectly. So in order to do that, I'm going to move it up and down until it looks right. Perfect. So see how when I move it up and down, oh, you can't really see that because my face is in the way. Hold on. All right, when you move this up and down, the left side hits and the right side hits perfectly. That's exactly what we're looking for there, okay? Perfect. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this up. I'm going to try to match the thickness relatively. Actually, I'm sorry, I don't want to match the thickness because we're going to be extruding this manually. One thing to consider though, we have this kind of like curve that this thing follows. I'm going to show you guys how we're going to accomplish that. That'll be kind of an interesting thing that we're going to do. But before we do that, let's get rid of the solidify, okay? Basically what we're going to be doing here is we are going to make a curve that follows this profile first, okay? So I'm going to add a curve. I'm going to go to add curve, Bezier curve. There's our curve right there, RX90, tab A SZ0 to flatten. All right, now let's go ahead and take our picture in the background. Let's lower the opacity a little bit. Now this is our line right here. We're gonna try to make our line follow this curve. All right, let me scale this down. So here's the start of the curve. Okay, here's the next part. Scale this way down. All right, so what we wanna do, all right, is we wanna scale this down. Here's the start of the curve, right? Starts there, goes here. And we're going to follow the bottom of this. So we're going to follow like the bottom profile. Okay. Perfect. Okay. You guys can see where the profile is right there. Perfect. All right, now we take this top part here, extrude it out. Now this worked really well on the last shoe that we did, which is why I'm doing it this way. Okay. Perfect. Perfect. All right, that's the profile, at least more or less. All right, so now what we do, now that we have our profile, we need to make this follow our profile. So how do we do that? We go over to the curve modifier. We select this, and then what we have to do is we actually have to move this object along the x-axis, like that. And you can see it's kind of following the curve, right? Okay. You can also move it up or down, depending on what we need. Let's see. Where's our curve here? I am going to give this a solidify modifier so I can see it from the side view just a little bit. Okay. Perfect. So now you can see we kind of have that profile that we're looking for, right? So we have that natural curvature, which is exactly what we want. Perfect. Object apply scale. We'll apply the scale to the modifier. And then also going to object apply scale to my plane as well. And now look, see how this follows the curve? That's exactly what we're looking for. We just gotta be careful because it's getting a little bit warped. So hold on, let's go back and see where we messed up there. All right, I was getting a little bit warped, so I'm not gonna apply the scale. This is why you always double check. Okay. I think that looks pretty good. So what I would probably do here is I would get rid of the solidify, and I would just apply the curve modifier, because now we have this shape that more or less attributes to what we have here, right? Everybody seeing that now? Perfect. That looks good. Hold on, let me go back. Okay. Tab into edit mode. And I'm going to scale it. Oh, you know what? It's the problem. You know what the problem is? Is that the origin needs to be set to the geometry. There we go. Good. Okay, the reason we're getting a weird issue at the end here is because this comes up more, but we're going to be extruding that ourselves. So right now, as of right now, I'm going to apply this curve. Cool. Perfect. All right. Curves applied. We're good to go. Love this. We need this more. Yeah, I know. This is going to be a fun one too. All right, so now that we have this set up, guys, I'm going to turn off the subdiv for just a second. I'm going to hide this. So this is like the part of the sole that we want. We want it to extrude up, but like kind of follow this profile as well, right? So I'm going to tab into edit mode. I'm going to go to my edge select. Select this outer edge, this outer edge. Don't want that one. Perfect. So now if I press E, you see we can extrude this up. That's exactly what we want. But we only want it to come up so much on the backside. So I'm going to do the minimum right now. So I'll do the minimum on the backside there. And then what we'll do is over here, we'll actually go into our X-ray mode, and we'll take these bits and pieces and kind of like move them up as we need, right? So like these pieces need to kind of come up, right? So you need to be like careful about what you're doing here. Now, the other part of it is both sides are a little different. Right now, this is the one side of it, but the opposite side, if we look, is slightly different. That's about the same. You know, we're going to do the same because I actually think it's going to work fine. All right, so we'll take this here, bring this up, take this here, bring this up. All right, bring this up. Okay, bring this up. Okay. We're going to have to work on some of the profiles over here, but so far, not terrible. It's looking pretty good. Now, again, I can add a solidify to this now, but I'll add it in reverse so that it goes in like that, just to give it like some level of thickness, because if you look, there is a thickness to this shell, right? Are you planning on doing lighting live? Oh yeah, we're doing everything live. We're doing modeling, lighting, texturing, everything live, everything. So we're going to do that. That looks good. All right, let's go ahead and add this kind of back piece here. I'm going to hide the bottom sole. We're going to come back to those really specific details later. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to show you guys a cool trick. I'm going to select the parts of this that I know I need, and we're just going to duplicate them. So watch this. I'll just go into X-ray mode. I'm going to hold shift because I need all these pieces here, and I'll take this piece as well, and I'll press shift D. Okay, now we have that selection. I'll right click and click on separate selection. Okay, now here it is right here. Now this piece here is going to be like our inner, I don't know, the inner part of this. And if I press E and Z, you can see I can extrude it, which is awesome, right? I'm going to take these, scale them down, move them down, bring them back over here. And then I'll basically just take this piece by piece and start framing this out, more or less. And we'll be able to relax these edge loops as well once we get into it. But for right now, I'm just kind of throwing this together. This is more or less like how I would do it. There's a lot of people that would not do it this way, and that's totally fine. There's 1,000,010 ways to do it, right? Okay. We'll come back to that. Let me just see what we have so far. Okay. Oh, yeah, we also need to scale it in general because it needs to fit on the inner layer of this. And we need to be careful because these need to be below. So this piece needs to come like that. All right, not terrible. It still needs to be like more on the inside here. So let's go ahead and take a look at the thickness here. Scaled it on the Y a little bit. Because remember, we really want this thing to kind of follow the contours. We need to be extra careful here. Like, what's going on right here? Right. Press A, shade auto smooth. Just want to see where we're at here. All right, good. And it looks like I actually need to adjust this piece a little bit. So let's do that while we're over here. This piece kind of comes up more. And this piece needs to go up here. Okay, bring it up. Okay, bring it up, bring it up. Again, I'm kind of just fine-tuning this now. You can always go back later. Not terrible. One of the things I wanted to show you guys though with the loop tools is if you alt click this and you click relax, it'll relax everything, which is perfect, exactly what you want. Perfect. Looking good. Okay. I feel like that looks like that part. Now there is a part, I don't know if you guys can see this or not. I'll turn the opacity up on this. There's a part in the middle. There's also some texturing. We'll get to that. There's a part in the middle that kind of like comes through and like pinches in. In order to achieve something like that, what I might do is add some loop cuts here. Like I'll add one like right here. I'll probably add one right here. And then I'll add one in the middle. And I probably like scale that in a little bit like that, right? And now you kind of have this like contour that is going on in the middle of the shoe there. And that looks pretty good. Let's see. Okay, yep, good. Getting some weird stuff going on here. Perfect. Okay. Good. What do you guys think? I think that's starting to look really good. Okay, I'm pretty comfortable with, do you always start on the sole? Me personally, yes. Yeah, that's my personal way that I like to start, yes. All right, so looking good right here. Let's go ahead and do this part next. Again, same concept. We're gonna go here. We're gonna figure out, okay, where does this kind of start? Kind of starts here. Okay, good. I'm just making sure I have both sides selected. Shift D, right click, separate by selection. Go ahead and select that. Press A, bring it down. Easy to extrude. And then this is the interesting part because we're going to have to really kind of scrunch this in, right? Because it kind of sits in the middle here. So scale it on the Y. Okay, this is looking good. So this part's going to kind of come over top too. But let's work on the profile first because, well, we need to. All right, I'll select the bottom. I'll bring it down because at the end of the day, it's going to be down there, right? Got to select these two edge points. Bring those down. Select these guys. Bring these up. Okay. Now, I don't necessarily know what the other side of the shoe looks like, but I'm going to be like guessing a little bit. So we're going to be playing a little bit of a guessing game here. Another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a loop cut in the middle here because I want to be able to maintain the edge that meets right here. I'm also noticing now that it's not very round, and I'm wondering why that is. So I'm going to select this loop, relax it, select this loop, relax it, and I'm going to go in here. I'm going to select this loop and relax that. But before I do that, I'm going to pull, I might pull the front forward just a little bit. Oh, it's because there's so many. Why is there double? There shouldn't be double vertices here. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can slide this a little bit. There we go. GG to slide. That looks better. Same concept here if you need to. GG to slide. It looks a little bit better. Okay. Shade it smooth. Okay, cool. All right. Now let's go back into X-ray mode here. Again, we kind of have that general profile shape. That's looking good. I think it's time to kind of wrap it around the top. And the way that we're going to do this is I am going to add a loop cut here. I'm going to scale it in on the... Oh, we might have to do proportional editing. Hold on, I'm thinking this through first before I make any decisions. Just want to see something. Okay, I just moved the top loop cut in a little bit. That's actually kind of accomplished what I was trying to accomplish. And I actually think this piece isn't nearly as thick as I'm having it right here, so we'll do that. That actually worked. What I was trying to do actually worked, so I'm fine with it. Again, it's just like one of those things where you really just don't want to overthink it. But you want to be like precise, but you don't want to do like over engineer the thing, right? All right, so now for this part here, this is like where you can kind of come in here and be like, all right, this obviously needs to come back more, right? I don't know how I lost touch with that edge there, but there we go. That's much better. And let's go to the other side. Oh Lord, how did this happen? Okay, that's better. All right, that's looking pretty good. I actually think we need another subdiv here. One more layer level. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so we're looking pretty good so far. Quick water break. Next piece is going to be this black part on the back, right here. In order to capture that part, I probably just branch off of this thing here. Okay, so for this piece here, and I know we haven't checked the side profiles. We will eventually check that. Don't worry, guys. I didn't forget about it. We're just going to select, again, just the parts that I need, which is going to be this part here. Shift D, right-click, separate selection. Take that selection, tab into edit mode. Scale it in on the X a little bit. Bring it down till it's like right about there. EZ, all right? And then this is going to be the fun part. I think we're going to be able to do this in an interesting way here. I think we're going to be able to kind of do something like this. Take all these points, rotate them, bring them down, scale them in a little bit. Look at that. Look how quick that was. And then we're going to need a loop cut in the middle because we need to bring these pieces back. Okay. This is looking pretty solid. This piece on the bottom, I'll bring that down. We want that to kind of come out here. Bring this out here, bring this out here, bring this out here. Boom, boom. How's that looking? Let's check it out. Good. Scale it down on the Y, shrink it in so it's not going past anything. Perfect. Shade that smooth. And now we have that back part too. Cool. One step at a time. Just so you know, just so you all know, the tread on the sole will be added later. Oh, yes, yes, that is true, Mark. Yep, it will. I promise. We haven't gotten to that part. That's going to be one of the more like complex parts. It's not that it's not possible. It's just it's more complex. All right, so now here's what's really cool about this shoe. It's almost like they made this easier for us to model on purpose. Like if you look, everything's like broken up. Like this is what I see. When I look at this shoe, I see, boom, oh, look at that section. Oh, look, there's another section of geometry. Oh, look, it's almost like hidden topology, right? We kind of look at those sections and I'm like, oh, we can definitely take care of that, right? So that's kind of how I look at that if I'm like reverse engineering it, which is kind of what we're doing here. So the next step, but before we get to the next step, I'm going to tell you about the SuperHive sale. The next step is going to be to create this kind of like main part of the shoe, but we're going to need to double check some references as well. But really quickly, I just wanted to shout out the winter sale for SuperHive. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that right into the profile right there, into our, sorry, not the profile, the chat. So in the chat, you guys can see the link is right there. 25% off the entire site right now. Check it out. SuperHive winter sale. Check it out, check it out, check it out. Okay, now back to Blender. All right, so we're in Blender, and I think for the next step, what we're going to do is sort all this out, but I kind of want to turn a few of these back on real quick and make sure we're kind of staying on par with like what this thing is supposed to look like. Let me just align this real quick. All right, so let's look at the front view. Where's the front? This is the front. I kind of just want to make sure, generally speaking, that this is more or less what it's supposed to look like. It's not going to be perfect, but let's just go ahead and line it up and see. Okay, so like, obviously, it's not perfect, right? And I don't expect it to be. However, I do think we're going to get this as close as we possibly can. So you scale that in a little bit. Yeah, we're gonna get it. We're gonna get it close, though. I promise, guys. We're gonna get it close. Remember, we're kind of going off of like as much as we can. So far, though, the only thing I would probably say is it might just be like a slightly wider shoe for the most part. All right, this is it, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to finally take this inner area and build this part of the shoe out. This is gonna be the toughest part of this whole thing. So, Shift D, right-click, separate, selection. Then we go and we tab into edit mode, press A, scale it in, SX. Okay, so we have our piece right here. starts here. I'm going to hide everything else so we can build this all on its own, right? Because this is going to be the start of the actual like shoe. I'm going to flatten everything, SZ0, and I am going to just start by like just seeing like what we have here. Okay, so this is actually not what I want, so I'm going to go ahead and click on edge, and I'm going to do unsubdivide. I want to make this even simpler. Yes, perfect. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to go into X-ray mode, extrude it up. Perfect. And now I'm going to start to like block this out with like basic geometry, and we'll kind of see what we can do. Now I can't really see what's going on the other side, so I might just start with just this side first. Let me just see, where's my left side here? Oh, it's okay. It's very similar on the left side. Okay, so maybe we don't need to do that then. All right, so then what we're going to do is I'm going to turn off my subdivision so I can kind of see this in a blocky format. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go into X-ray mode here, and I'm going to kind of just start piecing this thing together as best as I possibly can, and we're going to kind of go for it here. All right, so with these two guys, let's take these. These are going to start here. These two guys are going to start here. These guys are going to start here. That's fine. This guy's going to go up here. This guy's going to come down here. Now the other side is going to look completely different, right? We're actually going to need to extrude this again. That's funny. All right, let's see. What do we have up here? Okay, bring this here. I actually might do this a little bit differently. Hold on. I'm thinking this through. Actually, now here, we'll do this. We'll delete this face. We'll take these edges here and we'll extrude them up. Perfect. Okay. And then we're going to come back to that. I actually think this is going to be a really effective way of doing this. We'll see. And then I think for the front, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm actually going to delete this edge. No, I want to dissolve the edge. No. Hold on. I want to delete this face and this face. Okay. I want to see this edge here and extrude it on the X. Perfect. Now we take these, scale them down. These, scale them to about here. Okay, scale. See, this is the part where it starts to wrap in on itself, so you have to kind of be careful. So I'm actually going to take these and do something like this. This is where it kind of starts connecting back. So these 2 points here, these need to be connected like this, right? And then from there, I can kind of like take this, extend it on the X, and that's going to be like the top of the front of the shoe. And then we're going to need to connect all this other nonsense too. So let's do this. Boom, boom, EX. Okay, bring this up. Remember, this part doesn't really matter in between. So let's do this. 1, 2, F. 1, 2, F. And then we take 1, 2, 3, 4, F. 1, 2, 3, 4, F. And we got something that looks like this. It looks really silly, but like, oh wait, what? Okay, hold that thought. Oh my gosh, what in the world happened to this? Here's, well, this is an easy fix though, but here we take, oh no, is that what it's supposed to look like? No, that is absolutely not what it's supposed to look like. Hold on. SY0, GY. SY0, GY. There we go. All right, that was not supposed to look like that. Perfect. All right, that's the way it's supposed to look right now. Awesome. This piece up here, I want to subdivide that, and I want to bring this edge up a little bit. That. This edge and this edge, I want to bring it down. Okay, and then this is what we're going to do. Ready for this? Okay, does everyone see kind of what we just did right there? Okay, good. Now, this is what it's going to look like. It's going to look like this, right? But what we're going to do is we're going to give it a subdiv, and it's going to make it a little bit more apparent that it's actually like part of the geometry of the shoe. Let's see what it looks like. There we go. That's a little bit better. It probably looks a little bit funky right now, and the reason for that, what kind of, oh, did I not, oh, I never, that's my fault. Let me subdivide this. I never connected these two. F. Oh, I can't really do what I did. Can I? Hold on, wait a second. Not really supposed to. I'm not not supposed to really do what I did there with the weird geometry. So let me think about how I can fix that. Let me see if I can do this. Hold on. Okay. We'll come back to that. I did not realize that was going to happen, but that's okay. I want to see where we're at here. All right. Okay, there we go. All right. Now we have to realign it with the shoe, but that shouldn't be an issue. That is not what it should look like. All right, let's fix some of that. Okay. What happened here? You know what's funny? This is like a common thing in Blender. You like model something and you don't realize how it looks from every other perspective, and then until you do, until you do. There we go. Okay. All right. I cannot believe I didn't compensate for that. It's okay. Okay. There we go. That's like a little bit better. There we go. That's a little bit better. We're coming back to reality here. Just need to fix the other side too. Okay. Starting to look decent, except for this area here. Why is it looking like that? It's because they're so close. Maybe it is. All right, I won't overthink it for now, but okay. All right. All right, where were we? Oh, yes, the next part. So the next part has to come in even more. This is like one of those things I didn't think was going to take this much concentration. Concentration? Oh, my God. Concentration? Am I saying it right? But it is. All right, so for these parts here, I'm going to do this. Okay. Subdivide it. Okay, that's a little bit better. And it's still the bottom part, right? So really, this is just like... We're going to need to like make a whole loop. Oh, that's going to be crazy. Oh boy. What did we do here, ladies and gentlemen? And then we have this part here. I'm tempted to say that top part can be two different parts. So let's do this. Let's do a loop cut here. Oh, it really doesn't want to let me, because I did something fancy up here. Hold on. See if I can do this. Subdivide, and what's gonna let me? Did it let me do it? It did, but in a weird way. Hold up. 2, 3, 4. Can I do face grid fill? Why not? My geometry is whack. Hold on, let me do this. I'm gonna go back. Delete the vertices here. There we go. Start here. Start fresh. Come back. Okay. Come back and tab into edit mode. Hey everyone. Oh, hey, how's it going? CT Cheo. How are you, my friend? Did I say that right? CT Cheo? Let me hide this a little bit. There we go. Okay, so really what I'm looking for here is I'm looking for this, and I'm looking for this. Why am I not getting... Oh, because there's no loop cut on the other side. Ah, that's why I was having so many weird issues. Makes sense now. All right, so for this part here, what I want to do, if I take these two, is I actually want to bring these down. Bring this down. This right here should have a crease as well. So let's do that. But hold on, don't crease it yet because I need to connect these two. There we go. And subdivide it. No, don't subdivide it. Loop cut. That's what my problem was. Oh my goodness. That was it. That was the problem the original time because I was adding some weird geometry that like should not have been there. Okay, that's much better. And now you can see that we're getting the result that we wanted. Perfect. Let's go. Okay, now I'm hyped. All right, so now we can duplicate this other section. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight this loop cut, which should be that entire piece. And then I'm going to, oh, this is tough. I could extrude it up and then scale it in like this. Actually, no, I just want to scale it in entirely. Bring it down. Because that part right there is the second piece of this, which goes up, which technically goes more like that. So everybody see the piece I'm talking about? Then we'll come back and put it together. And then this part will come down because it's more flat in the front. Missing out on a good tutorial. Wish I wasn't working right now. Oh no! What's your job, my friend? Could you do a texturing tutorial? Yeah, we'll get to the texturing part of this. I promise. I promise. We just haven't gotten there yet. What time is it? 7:14. Okay, we're good. All right. Let's see. What was I about to do? Lost my train of thought. Hold on. Has to come down. Yeah, okay, so this part has to come down here. 2, 3, 4. Yep, has to come down like that. And it has to come down, has to squeeze in. This and this has to have to go here like that. Perfect. Okay. Starting to look a little bit more like a shoe. Let me just see what we're looking at on the side profile. Okay, so right now, I'm just like adjusting things. Trying to get them somewhat even. Okay, I see the issue here. We got to put this down. Okay, this is starting to look decent. Having a weird issue with the right here. I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty happy with like what we have so far. It ain't perfect, but it's good. All right, so one of the things too that's gonna be interesting, these pieces are like inflated here. Well, they're not inflated, but they're like, because of the stitching, they get pushed back out. It's almost like they look like this, like if you were to take this and like extrude it and scale it, right? But see, like that doesn't look quite right. And one of the reasons it doesn't is because we didn't give it a crease. If we did, it would look more like that. But it also still doesn't look quite right, right? So there's a lot of things to consider here on like how we can accomplish that. But let's keep roughing out the shoe because I think we're at a really good spot with it, and I'm excited to like see what happens next. So let's see where we're at. All right, we're at a good spot. Let's do the... Tempted to say let's do this part next. Let's try it. Let's try it. Let's try it. I'm gonna highlight the edge here, Shift D and Z, and then we're gonna separate the selection. Bring it down. Hide this real quick. Now this part here, come here. We're gonna extrude it up. Ooh, this is gonna be a doozy. You work in the medical field? Oh, that's cool. What makes you interested in Blender? I mean, I guess it kind of has to do with the medical field, or maybe you're just interested in how things work. Oh, damn, this is gonna be a doozy because of the... That's a tough part. This is actually probably one of the tougher parts of the shoe here. Let me just think this through first before we go to anything too crazy, because really it's just extruded twice, but I'm almost tempted to say subdivide this whole thing. Did that work? Did subdividing that work? No, it really didn't. Let's go ahead and bring this up. There we go. Okay, let's do that. Sometimes it's annoying knowing that like it's not symmetrical on both sides. It doesn't make it easier. Because, okay, so I'm just thinking, okay, so this has to go here, and then the next piece goes up. It's like almost two separate pieces. Like I almost want to delete these vertices here and just keep these guys here. Right? So it's like this. I'm just curious. If I extrude this up, right, and then we take these guys here. Take these guys here. So that's like the first part of it, but it's also inflated, so it would have to be like, I almost want to say like it'd have to be remeshed. The boot looks good. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. And then I might even just duplicate this whole thing, scale it all the way down like this, like kind of just reform this second part here. Because at the end of the day, it's going to be a part that kind of like loops into this piece here. Like that. Right, and then you take these guys, you scale them, you rotate, extrude, 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 rotate, scale. Hold on, scale on the Z only. Extrude, scale on the Z. Now it looks like that, right? Let me see. I just want to see what we have so far. This looks silly, right? But let's just see, because I think it's a missing piece. So we basically need to figure out, okay, well, first of all, hold on. This needs to come in. There we go. All right, so on the top part here, so this is starting to look pretty decent. On the top part here, this has to connect more. In order to make this really connect more, we need to bring these pieces up. We need to go into our X-ray mode here. These pieces need to come up more. That helps a little bit. There's going to be a rim that comes around this. We'll probably design that from scratch as well. Press A, Shade Auto Smooth to kind of keep things going here. It's not looking terrible. It's just the fact that like so many things are going to be aligned weird because of the perspective and like the way that the shoe actually looks. Like, why is this? This should be coming out on the other side. So like this point here should be coming out on the Y. As should really this whole thing here. There we go. It's a little bit better. Okay, let's do the tongue next, and we'll come revisit these, I think. Why is it so weird, though? It's because these are set. I really maybe shouldn't have made these separate pieces. Like, I don't know. I thought it would be a good idea, though. What's the X-ray shortcut? Alt-Z? Ah, that's nice. I'll have to get used to that one. I've always loved video games, and you're beginning to learn how to create a game. I want to learn Blender to create my own assets for my own game. Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, no, Blender is, yeah, Blender's a great choice for that. Blender, you can do anything with Blender, man. Anything. Don't let anybody ever tell you can't either, because they're wrong. All right, let me just see something real quick. I want to see if I was to remesh this. I'm just curious what it would look like. Yeah, I didn't think it would look that good. Okay, we'll come back to that. I don't like. It's crazy how easy it is to fix that. Maybe that's why I didn't like it. Because it was weird overlap there. It's really not supposed to look like that necessarily. In fact, it's supposed to look like this. Like, you're supposed to have a loop cut, and it's supposed to be like, kind of like extruded like that. That actually helped the look of it. Let's see if it works on this one. See how it kind of gives it some thickness there? Wow, that actually didn't work too bad. All right, we'll come back. We'll fix the edges there, but not terrible. Not terrible in terms of like what I was trying to achieve. All right, now the tongue is really going to tie everything together. In order to create the tongue, I'm going to duplicate this piece here. I'm going to go ahead and separate the selection. And then this piece here will become the tongue. Let's go ahead and go to our top-down view. Let's bring this down. Or here, actually, let me see something. Where is this? How many are right here? 1, 2. These should be subdivided. See if we can do a grid fill. Oh, we can't. All right, we might have to do this slightly differently. And that's okay. I'm going to actually delete everything on this side. Press A. Bring it in. Bring down. E, Y. Something simple like that. And then we're going to come back and refine it and all that. In fact, I'll show you what I'm going to do. SY0 on both sides. Okay. Press A. Go to our top-down view. Make sure it's kind of aligned properly. Bring it in. Okay, and we're going to kind of just piece this together. I'm probably going to turn on proportional editing real quick. Where is it? Proportional editing. I'll just do a sphere. Okay. Okay. Add a loop cut in the middle. Bring this up a little bit. And then we're going to need to select these E, Y, no, X. EX, because it needs to be like an actual sole. And then we'll come in here and kind of just like refine everything, like as we see fit. There we go. Like these two. Bring these in on the Y. Right? Like that. And then we're going to need to make it wider up here, obviously. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Kind of just rotating, scaling, things like that. Nothing too crazy. And then obviously, like down here, like with these, we'll probably bring this up more because we want all this stuff to be like close knit, right? No pun intended. Starting to look good. The middle needs to come up more. And look, I can relax this. Look at this. Watch. Go to edit, loop tools, relax, and look at that. Look how much better that looks. Same thing here. Relax. Boom. Relax. It's already looking 10 times better. Let's see this here. Boom. 10 times better. Except for why is this coming up? Boom. Look at that. That's starting to look solid. Oh, shoot. I kind of started the stream from the beginning. You kind of want to start the stream from the beginning. Yeah, go for it, dude. All right, yeah. Okay. All right, so let's see. Where am I at here? Good, good, good. There's a few things to like clean up on this side. Let's do some cleanup operations, ladies and gentlemen. We're probably going to hit it from this angle. Like this is going to be the angle we actually look at it with a camera. Let me just add a camera real quick because I want to make sure we can piece this together properly. Perfect. This is gonna be a cool shoot too. I'm excited for this one. Yeah, this is gonna be nice. We're looking solid so far. We have some weird things going on in the front here. What is this? That needs to be hidden. Most of the stuff you're going to see is like, well, you're really not going to see it. You know what I mean? Like it's going to be kind of like hidden from your view. Like you probably won't notice too much of the weird flaws. This is getting something weird's going on here though with this thing. What is happening here? It's a little bit better. It's because of the way everything is. I actually remembered the shortcut. Nice. All right, I'll take it. All right, same thing with this guy. Like right here, like this needs to be pulled in. This guy needs to be pulled in. Not bad though. I'm pretty like pleased with the result so far. All right, let's take a look at the references here. All right, so we're gonna need, there's a lot more we're gonna need, obviously, like we're not quite done yet, right? Would reducing the thickness slightly help? Yes, actually it would. With this, yes, 100% it would. And it did, thank you. It would help. Yeah, because I think it was overlapping towards the end there. Same with this guy. Actually, it's kind of showing me like the flaws too. So interesting, like there's so many things to consider here. All right, so we have a few more things we got to take care of here. Obviously, modeling wise, like there's always more. So we have these button things. We have the like this, whatever this is called, the laces, and then we have like the texture on the bottom. So let's see. Also kind of noticing too, like this probably could maybe have like a shrink wrap modifier or something. We can probably come back and modify it more. All right, I'm getting distracted. Let's do the buckles. All right, the buckles look relatively simple. I'm looking at the buckle and I see a cylinder, a plane, and that's really it. Let me see the top-down view. Is there a top-down view? Hold on. Where's our top-down? There it is. Huh, not quite. Not quite exactly what it looks like, but that's all right. Yeah, okay, and then it has two pieces right there. Okay, I know how to make this piece now. We're going to make it on a large scale. I'm going to make a new collection. I'm going to call this one, I don't know what they're called, lace holders. I'm sure there's a name for them. I'm already sure. All right, so I'm thinking it's going to look like this. Okay, I'm already kind of like, I'm going to sketch it out. Here, we'll do this because I'll explain like my thinking here. We're going to sketch it out first because I already know kind of what it's going to look like. We're going to sketch it out first. So I'm going to sketch it out. I'm going to go ahead and say that it's going to look like this. It's going to look like this. And then it's going to look like this. And these two pieces are going to hang over like that. It's going to look kind of like that, generally speaking. Okay, let's do this. Okay, let's do this. Let's do a bevel. Let's object apply scale. Okay, smooth it. That's the middle part there. We'll do a plane. All right. Okay, so here's the plane. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do a subdivision surface. And then I'm going to probably, let's see, I guess I could extrude it up. And then if I take this edge, if I take this edge, do I want this edge? Oh no, I want this face here. Yep. And then I want to extrude it out like this. And then I just kind of want to like take this piece here. And then I want to take the middle here and I want to push it back on the X like that. But then I want to crease those two edges. So let's do this. Perfect. And we'll clean this up in a second. Yeah, it's going to look kind of like that. And then we'll crease everything to make it 10 times better. So I'll take all these. I'll take these edges here. Just the edges here. We'll go here. We'll go to mean crease. We'll crease them. Okay. Everything's looking good so far. I don't know why this is all... Why is this so, like, distorted? I don't know how that happened. I really don't. Was I in, like, a weird... Maybe I was just at, like, a weird angle. It doesn't matter, because I don't really care if this is, like, perfect. All right, so we have that like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the inner loop scale it in a little bit. Both of these. Hold up. I want this loop. I want this. I want to scale these in a little bit. That's fine. Okay. Bring it down. And then I want, looks like they come in and they come and they loop around. So we'll take these. We'll EX. Then we'll take this and this. Kind of looks like it goes like that, like something similar to that. But obviously, these two here, we don't want any crease. Like it literally looks like that, but like not nearly as bad. Hold on. Let me go to the bottom here. I think this edge and this edge should have no crease. There we go. Oh my gosh, it looks horrible. Hold on, let me fix it. Looks so bad. It looks a little bit better. All right, that's a little bit better. It's not perfect, but that's fine. I'm gonna just call it at that. Although, hold on. There's like, I could probably spend a little bit more time modeling this, but eyelets. Oh, they look like mini rings. I know. Hold on. I'm sorry. This looks awful. I might redo it. Hold on, or at least like fix it a little bit. Instead, they're called eyelets. Eyelids or eyelets. It looks so bad. Not my finest modeling. Hold on. Let me bring this in. Okay. Oh my gosh. Oh wait, no, we want to, I'll just tell you what. Well, we can take this and make an instance of it, right? How do we make the instance of it? Right click, instance to scene. And that's the instance, and we can scale it down. Oh, but you know what's really annoying? There's no, oh, the origin stays. Okay, so we need to adjust the origin. Hold on. The origin should be right there so that I can, perfect. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're going to rotate them, and they get rotated up like that. They get scaled down. What's cool about the instancing though is that now I can decide, well, one, obviously how big they are, but I can go back and I can edit them again. Obviously, as you can see, they're like so accurately scaled and they're so perfect. Look at that. Boom. Looking good. This is already starting to become something here. Now, what's cool though, again, is I can go back and I can actually like modify these. How did that get all the way over there? Cool. Can't say they look great. And then we're going to do object, mirror. We'll just mirror Y global. Okay. It's fine. Okay, that's fine. And boom. Cool. I'm happy with that. I mean, it's not like, again, it's not like something that has to be perfect. Who said morning, bro? It is late here. It's 7:40 where I'm at. Okay. Now for the string, or the shoelace, we'll just do like a curve probably. So I'll just do like add curve, Bezier curve, bring it up, scale it. I'll call it laces. Okay, so all right, so in edit mode, I'm going to SX0 to scale it. And then I think I'll just look at my top-down view. And I'll Shift D to duplicate it. And let's see what we got. Let's go ahead and turn the opacity down just a little bit. All right, so it starts straight here. Okay. So here's what I'm thinking. We start it here, scale it, start it here. Now, with something like this, what's really cool is like we can kind of like duplicate as we go. So I can like extrude it, right? Do this, extrude it right here. Actually, I don't remember how I did this the last time. I do know that obviously like looking from a top-down perspective is not good because we're going to need to angle it, but we will eventually like actually do that. I promise. Okay. Boom, rotate. Do you know what size shoe it is? I have no idea. No clue. Good question, though. Probably set. I wonder, it might be in the reference. Like the size that's shown at least. Yeah. All right. All right, let's see how far we've gotten here. All right, good. All right, so let's move this onto the shoe. Now, obviously, we're going to want to have like some kind of geometry to this, so I'm just going to give it some thickness so we can have something in here. And then this is like the kind of annoying part because we have to like actually make this align with the things that they're supposed to go to. So like, obviously we have to kind of do a little bit of finagling here, right? It's like weird because you, this part takes a lot of time. When I did this on the last pair of shoes, it took me so long. Hold up, let me do this. This will be a little bit easier to do like that, but then you have like weird issues that happen on the edges. You want to make sure that they obviously like don't overlap where they're not supposed to, right? There we go, because like this piece should go down, this should go up, scale it, right? There's a lot to consider. And if you really want it to look like it's like on the hooks, then you have to, well, eventually do that. But right now I'm just gonna like kind of piece it together a little bit, see how good I can make it look, and then kind of just go from there, right? Because like I know that this is a tedious thing, and it's not necessarily that fun to do. Goes up here. Yeah, this part I do not like. This part I do not like at all. Also, we'll turn the resolution up a little bit. Hate this part. Is there an easier way to do it? I do think there is. I've seen a geometry node set up for something like this, and it was very well done. Let's see. Okay. Holy mackerel, this is going to drive me actually insane. Please be done. I don't want to do this anymore. This is like like worse than chores, like around the house. Now this is, I'm like really roughing this out, so don't judge too much. Okay, segments. I think there's a way to smooth. Hold up, curve. I'm pretty sure transform. No, hold on, wait. Control points, smooth. There we go. That helps a little bit. You can kind of this out. Why does it look so much different? Oh, it's like double laced at the top. Oh my God, this looks god awful, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so sorry. This looks so bad. Would you want to do this though? I mean, be honest with yourself right now. Would you want to be doing this? I wouldn't. Did I miss like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Why does it look like there's so many more laces? Am I doing this wrong? Hold up. It goes 1, 2. Where's the side? Oh, and then there's one more on the top. It's just weird from the other angle. Okay, I actually did do it right. Never mind. I did do it right. Okay. I'm probably just judging too harshly on myself because I know what I'm capable of, and I know that this is not it. I'm capable of so much more. But at the same time, like, this is actually, like, to be brutally honest, this is one of my least favorite things I've probably ever done in Blender is these shoelaces. If I'm being quite honest. All right, here's what we're gonna do. We'll do one more loop up the top. It's not really that. I'm exaggerating. I'm exaggerating. I do tend to exaggerate a little bit. Actually, hold on. I want to do this. Then I want to extrude it. Okay. All right, real quick shout out. I know I've said this a couple times already. Again, I want to shout out the SuperHive 25% off store-wide. All right, I just want to shout that out real quick for you guys. Everything is 25% off. It is our winter sale going on until March 2nd, which is actually a fair amount of time. So take advantage of it if you can. Awesome. All right. Coming back to the shoe, I guess it's time to like really take the stitching and stuff like that seriously. Oh, we have to do the bottom. Where's the bottom of the shoe? Oh my gosh. All right. So I'm going to show you guys a pro tip. You may not like it. You may like it. You may not. Pro tip for this. You ready for this? What is an add-on that I really recommend? Loop tools. Oh, for getting the sale? I mean, I always recommend my own products, but I'm really not supposed to shout them out on these like live streams. There's some really good add-ons. Retopaflow, however you say it. Flip Fluids is a good one. I have my own add-ons you can search up. I won't mention any specifically. But the thing I'm about to show you kind of has to do with one of the add-ons. But so we can actually make this. I don't know how to explain this. We can actually make this happen. This actual like texture without really like modeling it. I'm gonna show you guys like kind of how to do that. There's gonna be like a little bit of trickery behind it. So let's see if this works, and if it doesn't, that's totally okay. So I'm gonna add a plane, right? I'm gonna, what the heck was that? I'm gonna subdivide the crap out of this thing like crazy, like that much. I'm gonna go to a displace modifier, make a displacement. I'm gonna open up an image, and I'm gonna actually find the image that we just had. All right, now watch this. Everybody see that? Look at that. Everybody see that right there? Subdivide it one more time so you can see. Look at that. Now here's what's really cool about this. It's not perfect, but you can see the texture coming through. So everybody see the texture right there? You can actually get the texture of the shoe from the image. It really depends on like the quality of the image, but this didn't turn out. I think this is this in reverse? It is. So really you want that. So here's what's cool though. Obviously it looks really choppy, but in order to make it look like less choppy, we can actually add a smooth modifier to that. And now look, now you have a nice little shoe print there. And you can take that and you can place it on the bottom of your shoe. Well, you'd have to cut it out, but pretty cool, right? Isn't that like a cool way to do that? Oh, let me see something. Single image. Oh, crap. Let me do that. Single image. Where's sRGB? We'll do non-color. It's fine. Alpha, invert, calculate. Now mapping. Here you go. Mapping. Clip. Extend. Checker. Nah. We'll just do extend. Crop. Yeah. So how cool is that? Isn't that a cool little like trick? I don't know. I thought you guys would like that. And then if you really want to get crazy, you could probably get some geometry nodes involved there, but I think this looks pretty good. So what I would do from here is I would right click, convert to mesh, and then I would cut everything I don't need. So I would come in here. So it's going to be a tough one. I would take all this, right click, separate selection. Right? I would take that. I would probably remesh it. Smooth it. 8. Ooh, it's not going to let... Wow, it's really not going to do 8. Oh, doesn't really want to. Okay, that's fine. So I would probably take this, extrude it up, that, and then I would probably remesh it. Let's see if it'll let me remesh it. It really doesn't want to remesh it for me. Blocks. There we go. It doesn't want to do what I want it to do, but that's not bad. It's all right. All right, we'll just take this as it is. So this piece right here, we basically just need to like get it on the bottom of the shoe. In order to do that, we're going to have to reverse press it into something else, which is even more of a pain. Now, probably by the time that we get done this, we could have probably just modeled the darn thing, but yeah. All right, did I answer your question? Yeah, I did. Relatively speaking, that's probably how I would go about getting the bottom of the shoe. But since we're here to do a little bit more than that, I guess we have to, I guess we could model it. Hold on, let me just think. Oh, just such a PIA to model it. I'm really trying to like think this through. Hold on. Like I'm so happy with it. We're not even gonna barely see the bottom either. Let me think. I'm trying to think this through real quick on like the best possible way to do this. There's 1,000,010 ways we could do this. This will take hours. It probably won't take hours, but you know what? I have a better idea. We're gonna do a little bit of like trickery using geometry nodes, and we're gonna instance these onto our shoe. How about that? We're gonna cheat a little bit here, just a little bit. Let's go to geometry nodes. Let's go to new setup. Let's Distribute points on faces. We'll rejoin the geometry too. Actually, do a mesh to volume. And then I want to do a distribute points in volume. Why isn't it letting me do this? There they are. Hold on. Distribute points on faces, whatever. Really don't want it to be random, but that's fine. All right, and then let's do this. Let's do instance points. I want it to be in a grid pattern now. I think there's a way to do that. Hold on. Break texture. Or not break texture. I'm almost positive there's like a way to do that. Hold on. Oh, can't you just delete them procedurally? There's a way to do it. How it fades up towards the top though, we can do that with with a map range. Check this out. Scale instances, map range. And we can just have a proximity object, which can just be anything really. It can be this. What is that? Right, so we can just drag this in here and be like, oh, proximity, relative, and we can just do distance. Hold on. Check this out. Distance into scale. Or my fault, distance into scale. And look at that. Except for we really want our object to be this. How about this? That's fine. And then map range it. There we go. Or can we just do map range in general? No. There we go. See how you can make them smaller towards the top though? I think that's pretty cool. And then for the distribute points on faces, random. Let me see this. Distance minimum. No, I don't want that. Random. That is kind of like how I was going to go about it, but now it's not really feasible. And oh, you know what? They need to be, oh my gosh, I forgot. They need to be aligned to the, I have to align rotation to vector. There we go. That's why they were looking weird. Cool. A little bit better. You just they need to be spaced out. That's the only problem with this setup, which is why we're not going with this setup, but God, this would have been perfect too. Well, I could have done, hold on, merge by distance here. I don't know. I'm not a fan of the setup because normally you can do it like grid based or you can do like every other point, but it won't be as feasible for this. Although this does look pretty cool. I don't not like in love with it, but I don't hate it, you know what I mean? I'm not 100% with it though. I just don't love it. Kind of cool though. I don't know. Could be something cool to go with. I don't know. All right, where were we anyway? Oh my gosh, this looks so bad. It does look kind of cool though. I don't know. All right, let's figure out the like puffiness, these puffy like areas here that we need to like make happen. I have some ideas. Like I have like one of the ideas I have is to have like another duplicate of this and then just kind of like create them in sculpt mode. The other idea is like we could try to do it manually. Like we could take one of these, extrude it, right? But the problem with like extruding parts of this is that you then need to be like really intentional about, okay, like is there a bevel there? Like how do you make this like actually look like part of the shoe, which is what I just did, but then how do you make it look like it's supposed to be there, right? Like that like intentional part, right? Like if I extrude this, now that's part of it, right? But it's not really what we're looking for. Curious. Like even if you take that and you crease it like that, right? It's not going to look correct. So the question is, how do you like create these like fake indents? Another way you could do it is you could add a curve and like cut into the shape, right? Like you could, like here's an example. I'll take like a cylinder just to make this like really quick example. Scale it way down, scale it up, scale it down. So let's just say this was like one of the creases here. Like this crease right here. Right? And then you wanted it to look like it was like part of the shoe. You could theoretically, well, let me just do this. You could theoretically take this, do a Boolean, take this, and you could do something like that. Hold on. Right? Where you kind of have like this indented part, and then you take this and you remesh it, and you do smooth. Don't remove the disconnected, right? And then you kind of have this like smoother area right there. But that's not really like what I want to go for, right? Okay. Another part of it is you could take an edge, crease it a lot, right? Or you could like bring an edge in, crease it, but it's just gonna like ultimately give you like weird results. So I think what I'll do first is I'll do the stitching, which is gonna be a beast as well. And then after that, I will see what I can do about the next part. The stitching is going to be one of the toughest parts of this whole thing, though, just because it's kind of like a beast to set up. But I'll show you guys like what we can do in geometry nodes. There's a few cool things that we can do. All right, let's take the let's do a curve here. Hold on. Take all the lace holders, put them in the collection. Oh, you can't put them in a collection because they're instances. Lace instances. All right, beautiful. Okay, now the actual laces are right here. I'll just put those with the lace holders. What is this? This is something I can delete. Whoa, why is this? Oh, because the laces should instance. That's hysterical. Because I threw them in there, they instanced onto those points as well, which is actually really funny. Okay, so let's go ahead and make a new collection. I'm going to call this curve stitching. Let's add a curve, Bezier curve. Check this out. Tab into edit mode. You can actually go to draw on a surface, and if I draw, look, it snaps to the surface, which is really, really cool, and that's what we're going to be using today. So here we go. Here goes nothing. This is, now it's like up to my drawing skills, right? So I'm going to start with just like this part here. So I'm going to draw up to here. I'm going to draw up to here. I'm just going to do this for every single stitch that I see, and it's going to attach to the surface. Hoping it's working. It is working. Okay, good. All right, here we go. Draw here. Draw here. Draw here. I'm going to redo that one. Draw in. All right, now the fun part. So I got those parts there. Now the fun part, drawing here. Perfect. Okay, and then I get to draw these fun ones down here. It smooths it out automatically, by the way, if you guys were curious. Believe it or not, this is much harder to do without like a tablet. So here's the curves that I have. They don't look that bad. I might just do the one side of stitching just to get it like correct. So there's the stitches. Cool. And then what you can do is you can come in here, right? You could just give them like depth, like those are where the stitches will be. But for us, I'm going to show you how to like instance small curved lines onto that for stitching. So I'll go ahead and go into geometry nodes. I'll click on new. I'll do curve to points. Okay. Wait, what? Oh, right, there's a mesh. We'll do 0. Okay. Set point radius. We'll set it low. Right. And then basically what we're going to do is I'm going to resample the curve too. Actually, hold on. Let me tab into edit mode. Let me do segments subdivide. Segment subdivide. Segment subdivide. There we go. So now what we can do is with these points, we can actually instance onto them. I can also resample the curve too if I want to. But I'm not going to do that. All right, so then we'll do instance on points. Now for the instance, I think I'm going to do just like a Bezier curve, Bezier segment. Why is it being so weird? Oh, because I have to make it smaller. All right, let's do a tell you what, for the instance, I'm gonna create the object. I'm just gonna make an object. I'm just gonna do a plane. Okay, hear me out. Tab into edit mode, scale it down a little bit. I'm gonna extrude on the X, extrude on the X, bring these both down, extrude up a little bit, and then I'm just gonna add a subdiv to this. And that's gonna be one stitch. Boom. And then we take our curves, which are here, and we add our subdiv to that, or our plane to that. That is not the right thing. Where is this? Oh, there it is. All right, so we add this in here. Boom. And now it's in there. We have to give it a value for the scale. Scale it way, way, way down. And we also have to align it to the surface because right now it's not currently aligned. In order to do that, I'm going to do a rotate instances. Let's see here. I'll rotate them this way and rotate them. Oh, which way do we have to do? Wait a second. Oh, they have to be everything has to be set to the one direction. Hold on, I'm trying to think of get this out of here. Relative. No, I don't want them. I want them original. And the rotation. Oh, you know what? Let me do this. Object apply all transforms. Okay. But I need to set origin to geometry. Now, hold up. Set origin to geometry. There we go. And then these need to be spaced out. Why aren't they cooperating? It's kind of close. Really, they're supposed to be obviously rotating the correct angle. You get the rough idea on like how the stitching works. I'm just having issues with the Yeah, this is gonna be a cool tutorial. Yeah, I know it's a fun one. This is kind of a PIA one as well, but it's one of those things that's like you kind of have to do it. I actually want to try something though, because with this curve, there is a little something different we can do. We can take this object and we can actually I'm gonna do one last subdivision. We can actually take this object and we can do an array, but we can do it on a curve. In this case, we can do it on this Bezier curve. This Bezier curve, we'll get rid of the geometry nodes. So now, this right here is our array. Okay, so let's go ahead into our array here. I'm also going to scale this down a lot. There we go, that's a little bit better. And then what I can do is I can just decide the distance that I want it to be apart. I also have to scale this down even more. How close is the stitching? There we go, it's pretty close. So now, like, you can see the stitching's a little bit better, but we need to make sure that it is aligned properly on the... I need to align the rotation. That's close, but I don't know why it's being weird on some of these. Some of the so some of the curve, yeah, we want it per curve. Some of the curves are like facing the wrong direction because whatever direction I drew them in is like the quote unquote direction that they're going. So how do we make every curve how do we basically make them all go the direction that we wanted to? The one line, I just drew it in the wrong direction, and that's why it's giving us like a weird thing there. So that's the issue there, which you guys probably don't care about because you just want to know how to make it work. So let me just see if I can look something up real quick. Oh, switch direction. Okay, so if I do, just see something. The curve. Come on, so let me select the curve. Okay, this one needs to go in the opposite direction. So let's do this. Go ahead and do curve, switch direction, control points. Wait, let me go back here. Segments, switch direction. Cool. And then where was the piece that oh, bro. Where did that piece go that I just had? Come on. Tell me I just deleted it. Oh my gosh, bro. Oh, I just hid the I hid the array. Okay, so that actually kind of half worked. All right, I'm gonna just be fine with it because I kind of want to get to like materials and stuff like that. Because this shoe's looking really cool. There is even more stitching. Oh, I forgot the outer rim. Oh my gosh, I forgot the outer rim. Yo, this program is gonna be the death of me, I swear. We gotta do it though, don't we? We really have to. Because if we don't, we're never gonna live with ourselves. Oh, bro. Okay. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna duplicate this because that's really how it starts anyway. I'm gonna hide that. Hold on. I just want to delete these vertices. One, two, three, four, five, six, SC. Okay, good. So really, these are just going to be like extruded and extruded and extruded and extruded. So we'll take this. We'll go back to our references. And it's just going to kind of go down. Does everyone see what I'm doing? I know it's probably like really hard to see, so let me turn down the opacity here. Okay, there we go. Okay, good. Perfect, perfect. That was the wrong piece, so hold on. Okay, good. Okay, I'm locked in, I'm locked in. And this is the part where these two meet. And you say hello. All right, we'll come back to that. All right, how are we doing here? Where's our laces at? What happened to our laces? There they are. All right, so this piece here needs to be the ridge. But in order to make it the ridge, we have to fix a few things. It has to go along the ridge, the actual ridge piece itself, which it does not currently. Also needs, this part needs to be slimmed down a little bit. Okay. All right. This is a PIA, if anyone knows what that means. Okay. And this piece has to go kind of like, oh, this is a PIA. That's a freaking pain in the butt. Like, I do love Blender. Blender is one of those things that's like, you spend so much time on like little details, but it just takes a while. It all takes a really long time. A lot of it does, at least. Let's do a little proportional editing here because I think it's going to help a little bit. Let's take this here. Oh, geez. Smooth. It's kind of funny. Like, I feel like proportional editing like is nice, but it doesn't really work as well as you would like kind of hope sometimes. Like, you're almost just better off not using it sometimes. Then again, scale all these. There we go. Let's do that. There we go. That's better. Perfect. At least, well, not perfect, but better. Oh my gosh. I kind of wish I did this slightly differently. Like, the way I could have done this is honestly with a curve. I should have done it with a curve. I don't know why I didn't. What was I thinking, ladies and gentlemen? I got caught in the blender loop. What happened? I let him catch me. I keep accidentally deleting. You guys ever do that? Like, when I'm trying to move something, sometimes I accidentally click on X, which obviously I'm not intentionally trying to do. Ends up just deleting the thing that I was trying to work on. All right, that's better. It's not perfect, but it's better. Okay. All right. Getting there. And then, like I said, like, another part of me is like, should I have just used the curve? Because, like, the curve could have also worked. I feel like you only think later and you're like, man, I could have used that. Like, I could have used the curve. Why didn't I use a curve? What was I thinking? What was I thinking? Sorry, guys. Gonna have to use a curve. Sorry. Oh, shoot. I know. I'm sorry. But, like, I just want it to be good. I want it to be good. I don't want it to be great. I mean, I don't want it to be great. Oh, my God. I don't want it to be good. I want it to be great. So that's why we're going to do this. Hold on. Let's just hear me out. Hear me out. This won't take a long time. I promise. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take this, right? We're going to extrude it up. We're going to extrude it right here. Scale it. Look at that. Boom. You just keep going. Boom. Right? And then we'll come to the top-down view after this and see how we're looking. Okay, there we go. Better. Okay, there we go. So look at that. So much better, right? And then what we can do is we can take this curve and now we can do like an extrude for it, right, or something. It just looks so much better. We can actually decide like where this thing goes, right? I'm not sure 100% like how it's deciding to extrude things. It's deciding to extrude. Wait a second. I'll do profile. Oh, I didn't realize you could do that. Oh, you can like, oh. I'll be honest, I did not realize that you could that you could do this. That's kind of cool, though. But I don't want it to be like that on both sides. I guess, hold on. No, that's not exactly what I want, but okay. We'll come back to that, but this is a cool start on the fact that I can even do this at all. Let's go. And then you could take this piece, right? You could extrude it this way. Or not. I guess you can, but you gotta do it like this. And then again, like, this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about here. Oopsies. That's exactly why you check all your angles. Oops. Whoopsies, whoopsies, whoopsies. And we will come back to fix the issue that we're having. Don't worry, I didn't forget. Wow, I should have done this the whole time with everything. Everything should just be made of freaking curves. Because curves are great because you can, like, I just love that you can come back in and modify them. They're not like, I don't know. And you can deal with them with geometry nodes too if you ever need to. And I believe I can just connect this here. Right? And then just move this and scale it and rotate and move and scale and rotate. Obviously, this isn't the shape we're looking for, but it's cool that you can even do that at all. Why can't I extrude it? I guess we can do a taper object. I don't want round. I don't want this. There we go. It should be like that, but it should be flipped the other way. Segments, switch direction. That helps a little bit. It's still not really what I'm looking for. That's kind of what I'm looking for. I just don't know how to get it to, like, face the correct direction. Does anybody know how to do that? I don't. All right, twist method, minimum, Z up. There we go. Z up, tangent. Now I want Z up, but then we need to fix the issue. Bro, what? Okay. Okay, maybe we were better off doing this. Good lord. What happened down here? Oh, what? Okay. You know what? Let's try this. Let's try profile, or no, let's try object, and let's do another curve object. I'll just do it like object curve, Bezier circle, whatever. We'll try that, and then we'll modify the circle. It's taper object. There we go. Object, boom. Okay. I don't want it to taper. I want this to be smaller. That's what I wanted. Yep. Boom. That's what I was looking for. I just need to fix the twist. How did this get twisted? But, like, What? Oh, I know, I know. Dissolve vertices. No, 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 no. Delete the vertice. Delete the segment? I don't know, bro. How do you... I hate curves. I take it back. Ladies and gentlemen, I hate curves. I might just go back with that original thing I had because I'm getting to the point where I'm like, yo, all right, whatever. We're just we're gonna see what we have so far. Where are the instance laces? There we go. Laces instanced. Oh, I hit all those too. That's my fault. All right, you know what? Let's start like texturing this thing because I'm kind of over it. All right. Where's my picture of what it looks like? All right. All right. So the bottom's just rubber, so that should be pretty simple. Just give it like a BSDF, black BSDF. That's fine. And then we'll do like a high roughness, maybe almost gray. Okay. Oh, you know what? I do need a environment texture here. Hold on. Ooh, I don't like that one. Let's try this guy. That's the same. I just selected the same exact one. Tell me that you didn't get a lot of sleep without telling me you didn't get a lot of sleep. All right. What do we got? What do we got? This is gonna be like a kind of like a felt type material, but I'm just gonna make it black for now. I want to say the hardest material is going to be the fabric because that's going to be like a repeating type of like pattern. This one's going to be a rubber, so I'll just go ahead and grab that color there. High roughness. This one also kind of has like, I do feel like it has like some subsurface, but like nothing too crazy. Let's go over to the shader editor so we can like actually start to create this thing. For a reference, this piece is going to be the same as this. Make materials. This. Okay, it's going to be the same as that. Wow, this is going to be like the heart of the whole material. Like, how do we possibly replicate that? Whoo, how do we do it, ladies and gentlemen? How do we do it? Well, I have some ideas. I'm thinking like a Gabor texture or a brick texture. Gabor. This is what the Gabor texture looks like. I'll show you. Color ramp. Oh, we want 3D. And we want the anisotropy. What is it? Scale and frequency. Actually, this should be for that material. Let's do a, I almost want to try, I'm tempted to say a Voronoi texture, but I want no randomness, and I want it to be, where is it? Yeah, that's good. All right, it's gonna be that, and then this one will be, I don't know, like a yellow kind of color. I want to do some mapping for this, and I want to do some texture coordinate. That's good. Now, here's where the magic comes in. I just want to. I'm just kind of playing around with the materials right now. But hold on, I want to apply this to everything. I want to try this, but I want to try this with the, like some. Where am I going with this? I want this with a bump. This will go into the height. Normal into the normal. There we go. Gives it some like surface texture a little bit. Kind of like this fake surface texture. But this is where you can get like interesting, right? Because you can kind of come in here and do this. You can also add a piece in here that's like black, right? So now you can come in here and like, let's see. You can be like, oh, right? Let's do, did I say Voronoi? Let me see something. 3D, smooth F1, distance to edge, nah. This is where you kind of have to play around with it to get the result that you're looking for, which sometimes people don't even know what it is that they're looking for, which is the craziest part of it. And then like the brick, like you could come in here with like a brick texture and it probably would look decent, right? This obviously is not what I'm going for right here, but I'm just trying to show you guys an example of like a lot of the times it's like all about like playing with the texture, the scaling, right? Like if I do brick texture, right, and then we go here, the factor into the height. Look, now you got like a weird looking like brick texture, right? But you also have like some punched in shapes. Me specifically for this situation, I'm going to use the Voronoi texture, but I'm not really getting the result that I'm looking for. So I'm going to keep playing around with it a little bit. Not the detail that I'm looking to change up. Really, I'm looking for that kind of like grid level like pattern. Like this kind of has that grid look, but this one's more of like, I almost want to say like circles. Right? Like I don't really understand all these different modes, but I'm just kind of checking them out. Sometimes I wonder if you like were to invert this, what it would look like. I'm gonna try the Gabor texture again. Such a weird, this texture makes no sense to me. Like I really don't know what this texture is like really going for. It's kind of cool though. I kind of dig the vibe. I kind of dig the vibe of the texture though. All right, I think I got it. I think I got it. We're gonna do a wave texture. Okay. Do this, this, and we're gonna get these waves first, like these wave patterns, and then we're gonna collide it with something else, right? So we're gonna do the wave first, right? We'll fix the stitches later. We're going to do the wave first. And then we're going to like mix the color. Do mix color. Something else. I'm thinking we do like another wave texture. But this time we like change it up. All right, we do wave texture, but this time you're doing on the Y. So now you kind of have this like grid thing going on here, right? Let me just see. The grid only affects every other one of these things. So let me just see something. See if we can do a difference. If we can do exclusion. Ooh, that might be it. That's kind of what I'm looking for. I think we were going somewhere with the other one. Yeah, okay, so boom, boom. Okay, let's do Y. Maybe the scale's not as much on this one. No, not exactly what I'm looking for. Let's do X, Y. I can't say that I'm in love with the pattern. Whoa. Hold on. Let me do this. Redo this part. I still think that looks pretty cool, but I just don't think it's like exactly where I want it. Okay. There is another thing we could do, but this is kind of like a cheesy way to do it. Well, I'll show you what I would do. You could take a snippet of this. Go in here, you could take a snipping tool. Just take a little clip of this thing, like maybe like, I don't know, like this part right here. You could save it, and you could just use that as a texture. I called it texture, try me. That's what I called it. Who knows? Maybe it'll work. Maybe it won't. Try it out. What is happening here? Oh, I don't have any mapping. Let's get some mapping. Let's do generated. UV maybe? I guess I could UV unwrap this thing, but I would have to like... I guess I could. I don't know. Let's do box. There we go. It's a little bit better. The blending's a little weird, but we can get around that somehow. Also, the obviously, like, the coloring looks weird, and the reason for that is this needs to be a hue saturation. The background world is currently saturated with blue, so we're going to unsaturate it to fix the coloring on the object, which helped a little bit. Also, it's funny, we're getting no blend on the edge, so I'll try to blend it a little bit. That helps a little bit. It's actually kind of crazy how that, like, actually kind of works. That is wild. I don't love that it's like looking like that, but it's still like looking pretty cool. I don't know. it's not my favorite thing ever. Oh my goodness. Oh Lord. The hue looks a little off, doesn't it? Is this sRGB? What am I using here? That's a little bit better. All right, good. Okay, let's take care of the... What's this thing called again? I don't know. Let's just do this piece here. This is just going to be a metallic. And it's going to be whatever color that is. A little more orange. That looks good. Like the materials there. And then maybe give it like, I don't know, like some anisotropy. Just a little bit. All right, again, we can always come back to that later. All right, now for this piece, this we can actually use the wave texture for, I think. For this, for the shoelaces, yeah, I think we can use a wave texture. And I think we can use a color ramp as well. Let's do this. Let's do, for this one, we'll do blue and red. And then we'll do, we'll scale it up a bunch. And we'll maybe hue saturation, lower the saturation a little bit. 0.8 maybe. Okay, and then I think we'll turn up the roughness. We will not add any distortion. Want these colors to be kind of close together. I actually think the brightness and contrast could be turned down a little bit too. There we go. Okay, and then we're gonna mix this with, like, we're gonna do like two separate ones, right? So right now it's going in which direction? Z. So if it was going in the Z direction, go like that. We're gonna mix two of these together. Mix color. And we'll mix one that's going in the opposite direction, or maybe Y. Now you get this kind of like weird, like scattered looking thing, which is kind of what I'm going for here. And then I kind of want to see what happens if we were to take all of this and, of course, plug it into a bump node. Just want to see. That helps a little bit. And then, of course, breaking it up even more, we can go like that. You can start to get some texture on there. Starts to look a little bit better. A little bit more like, not like strands, but like it looks cool. Let's see. Let's do X. There we go. That looks a little bit better. And again, with like hue and saturation 0.7, like kind of dumb it down a little bit. It's almost like, is it the brightness? And maybe it is the brightness. It's not like the coolest looking, like it's cool shoelaces, but it's nothing too crazy. But it's starting to get there. It's starting to get there. All right, what color is the stitching? It's kind of like this, almost like this gold color. It's a little lighter than that. I'll be able to see the darn stitching. There we go. That's a little bit better. All right, so I can kind of see the stitching. I don't like love like the textures we have going on, but we're kind of, like I said, we're kind of getting there. I do want to go ahead and go to geometry nodes, and I want to make sure that this has the correct material. So set the material to our instances to material. And now we should be good there. Perfect. And then for this, I kind of want to give this some bump too. In fact, it should just have like a regular, like, what is that? Like, actually it kind of has like a wave texture bump. I know it sounds funny, but I think it does. Well, yeah, look. She kind of has like a dual wave texture bump. Kind of like what we had before. Mix color. And mix these two. We'll do X and Y. They kind of just cross paths, if you will. Or do Z. And we'll go ahead and give that. We'll do color ramp. There we go. Look at that. That looks good, actually. See, like, wait, that's what we need, but right here. That looked good. Why don't we do that for this? Let's copy all this. Let's go back to this thing. We'll save this stuff, too. But we'll paste that in. Color ramp back into here, here, and here. And we will. And we just need to decide what the colors are going to be. Yellow and what? And orange. Shoot, that's not the color that I wanted. That's a little bit better, though. I feel like that doesn't look terrible. I just hate how saturated this is. There we go. A little bit better. Now we're kind of getting somewhere here. It's not looking too bad. It's just the texturing's a little bit off, but like it's not looking terrible for like how much time we spent on it, which isn't really that much. Hello, I'm new to Blender and the 3D world. Oh, well, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yeah, I will tell you, Blender is a beast of a program. Definitely learn it if you haven't already started. It is so much fun. All right, there's also a texture on this as well. Well, this back part here, it's kind of like a muddled texture. But we're going to add it. It's very similar to this. So I'm going to click on that. Paste that in here. Bring it over here. Go to the normal. This one's a little bit more subtle, though. So I'm going to bring down the distance to like 0.5, maybe 0.05. This one, like I said, it's a little more subtle. Almost tempted to say. Here. Yeah, there we go. Better. Better. This shouldn't have it though. This, I'm going to duplicate this material and get rid of that. There we go. Perfect. Not entirely in love with this, but I like this side of it. Like, it looks kind of good. And then, like, with the area light, like, obviously I have my area light, like, up here, right? There's a lot going on with that. This is where we could kind of start to, like, piece together an environment. I'm just not in love with the laces. I might actually just change the overall color of the lace. I might make the laces... I might make them, like dark. Not too dark, but just like something subtle like that. What do you guys think? Just kind of think that looks cool. Okay. I don't know. I think that looks nice. It's a little more subtle. The stitching could probably be a little bit more prominent. Oh, obviously the Columbia logo. But like, I feel like this is starting to become something that looks like not terrible. You really think it's a great idea for a beginner to learn Blender in the age of AI? Just curious. Yeah, I mean, I think it's important to just like train your mind on how to be creative, you know? The whole AI discussion doesn't really scare me too much, but I don't know. I think the problem with AI is like there's non-creatives using it, and I think they don't actually have the creative ideas. I think we do. That's just my personal opinion on it, but to each their own. I mean, you can obviously do whatever you want, but I don't know. I don't really mind AI. Like, it doesn't really like bother me. I mean, I use it as a tool sometimes for certain things, but nothing too crazy. Okay. All right, I kind of want to create like a little environment for this thing, just like a fun little environment. How difficult is modeling a character? I've never really done it. I mean, I've done a few things, but for the most part, it's up there. It's up there in difficulty for sure. All right, guys, let's see. It is how long we've been live streaming for. There's one last thing I want to mention. All right, we've been live streaming for quite a long time. So there's one last thing I want to mention, and that is SuperHive. We are running our sale. So let me go ahead and go home here. The winter sale is here. Again, 25% savings site-wide. So if you're just coming in now, check that out. We are going to be logging off here. It's a late night. I hope you guys had fun. I definitely did, and I hope you take advantage of this 25% site-wide sale. It just went live. There's plenty of awesome products on there. I hope you guys have a great night. I hope you enjoyed. I thought this was a fun one. We learned a lot, and I do think there's like even more we can do. Like there's more we can do to improve. Overall though, fun little modeling challenge, and we'll definitely try this again. Good take. I think, yeah, definitely. Yep, definitely true, my friend. Definitely true. Guys, have a great day. Make sure you're subscribed, like the channel. Have a great night. I'll talk to you.